This week on Around the Monitor, Google tried to create a new world order in video games. Side effects of Stadia may include going around the monitor.
Let's go.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Around the Monitor for the week of March 22nd. I am your host, King Kaiser, and joining me once again is the unlucky tacticianer, the Green 8-Ball. Whoa! We've got the fanciest boy in the land, Dapper Dastard. Oh, topical Family Guy joke. We've got the Snapshot Crackshot, the Fisher King.
You guys remember when RoboCop shot that guy in the dick? What's up with that? Hey, RoboCop, what's up with that?
And we've got the Master Hand Mizuki joining us once again. Fisher King streams. I don't know if you watched the GDC Google announcement stream that I did. The jacket is in reference to Matt Pat's jacket, which many comments were made about at the time.
Who commented that?
You had to be there. It's too long of a joke to get into.
No, it was me in the chat, you dumbass.
No, at the time. Anyways, this is the weekly gaming news podcast where every point you make in the discussion is a point towards winning. And let's get right into it this week because we've got a lot to talk about, primarily with Google Stadia, which is the new. I don't know if it's quite as outrageous to say. This is now a fourth major developer publisher of games. It's been the big three for so long. Can we say that now there is a big four? And that'll be a question I'll probably be asking in a minute. But the main article for this that I'm pulling from comes from Kotaku. They did a really great breakdown of what we do and don't know about Stadia at this point. I kind of want to go through that and have us just kind of talk it out of what we think about each of these bullet points here. So pack a lunch because it's a little bit to read. So what Google has confirmed at launch, Google says their service will be able to run games at 4K at 60 frames per second with a 30 megabit per second connection, with presumably a slower speed allowing for 1080p. The platform will scale down the frame rate and graphics for internet connections lower than 30 megabytes per second. If you have less bandwidth, quote, will give you a lower resolution. Phil Harrison told Kotaku. Phil Harrison being the man in charge of Google Stadia. All Stadia games will require a constant internet connection. If your internet goes down, you can't play them. Stadia can run on any device that has Google Chrome, including phones, tablets, PCs, and TVs. The Stadia data center PCs where games will actually be running will use Linux. There's a bunch of PC specs. The data center PC specs, not the spec you need, because from what I understand, you can be running this on pretty much a potato. Early on, releases from the newly formed first-party studio Stadia Games Entertainment, which is run by Jade Raymond, will be smaller and aimed at highlighting the platform's unique capabilities. First-party games will be Stadia exclusives. Most second-party games will be exclusives, and the ones that aren't will have Stadia exclusive features. Doom Eternal was confirmed for Stadia. The Stadia controller is required to play games with TV and with Chromecast. I probably misread that. Google has sent Stadia dev kits to over 100 development partners, and according to Harrison, the video game-inspired icons shown during the lead-up to the GDC presentation are not indicative of the types of games coming to Stadia. That was kind of a dumb thing to read. Let's go over the things that we don't know about yet, because I think that is where a lot of the argument are going to come from. Because I'll be honest on this, I'm in. Now, granted, I live in New York City. I have an incredibly good internet connection for a relatively cheap price. Sorry for y'all people in the Midwest, but let's...
Kaiser's a sucker.
Man, we'll see. Because here's the thing. Right now, I want to believe. But, as I'm about to go into, there's a lot of things we don't know yet. Including, it is unclear of what the minimum internet connection is to use Stadia. Because they're saying you need They said 25 megabytes per second. Later, they said, we recommend at least 20, but it can go lower. What's the minimum is what we're wondering here. Like, could you do 480p at 30 frames per second with a 10 megabyte per second connection? We don't know. what amount of latency is Google targeting for Stadia? We don't know the pricing of this. We don't know what happens if and when Google decides to shut down certain Stadia servers or reallocate the data centers. Like, will those games just be gone forever? We don't know if there's a minimum technical requirements. I mean, obviously they can play it on phones, so apparently it's pretty low. Do we know what's the deal with the Stadia controller? Because it's required to play on television. How much will it cost? Yada yada. And Google, how will crossplay work? Because basically they said they are pushing for crossplay, but that needs the other major parties to be cool with it. So I've talked a shit ton just now. Let's get into the actual gameplay of the show. 8-Ball, are you down to clown with Google Stadia?
No.
No. I'm not surprised.
So, like, is the topic just like what? How do you want to? Because this is a very broad topic.
This is extremely broad. Oh,
do you want to
I
ask
forgot to
like
do the cool
small
thing.
questions?
I forgot to do the cool thing.
Yeah.
There we go. Google Stadia. You're welcome. I did it.
Do you want us to
Yeah.
do you want to ask small questions? Have us go around, or
I could start on like what it's not showing. I can start on like why it looks decent. There's like even a third article on like a guy's experience with it. Like, what do you like specifically?
Okay, so let's go with why are you because you were a definitive no on that.
Oh yeah.
Sonic, you go. I gotta stop looking at the chat. This is a polished podcast here. Talk to us about why you're a hard no on this.
There's as of now, and this is not something that can't change my mind, but they have not shown anything that would convince me that they are capable of like holding these services, like they said, will it work? And the guy's not going to say no. So my big thing is,
obviously,
is it going to run, and is it going to run efficiently for the people who are going to be playing it? Even like in different areas, you already made a joke about the Midwest, but like seriously, people have bad connections or whatnot, and
it's very true.
like that's an initial first worry. They don't have any single cost reference to how much it's going to cost yet, which is huge. They could charge innumerable amounts of money for this, and I know you said you're already down to clown, but that's like,
I mean, yeah. If they come out and they're like, it's going to be $50 a month.
Some people just don't want to go to a circus already. You know, like, it could be fucking wild, like what they have. The guy already mentioned in our third article that it ran. He's like, oh, it could get better, but like it didn't run like it's not perfect. I'm like, well, you're already saying that there's like input lag or whatnot, and that already kind of raises some caution.
There was a video of someone at like the, I guess, GDC testing it like on the shitty controllers they had in the fucking Stadia, and he took like a cell phone video of how bad the latency was on input. It's pretty fucking bad.
See, yeah. I will say I did see that, and I also saw, I can't remember what outlet it was. They did an actual they had a camera that ran like 240 frames per second, and they like recorded the input lag of both Stadia and all of the current consoles, and I mean, depending on what it was, especially with PC running at 60 frames per second, there was a noticeable difference. But some of the consoles, it was like, a little bit.
I wouldn't be opposed to running around the entire group once or twice.
I agree. We absolutely will.
I will say two things that two other things. First of all, their presentation and logo, very D at best.
I agree with you on
horrible. Their logo is terrible. Their presentation. Their personalities had like zero personality besides save a couple members. Like mostly the women on the panel. The third guy, Matt Pack, had some good personality, but no one in the audience thought so because everybody's a drone. I don't know. But their presentation was bad.
Agreed.
So that's something they're already kind of like, ooh, there's not much there to reveal. And the last major point I want to make is that game company not releasing anybody who's involved with this at all, problematic. If you can't even give me one company or something like that, or one of these developers that you're working with closely, you guys are still not a game company.
I mean, they talked about id Software with Doom
and Ubisoft
and Ubisoft. Yeah,
they did have Ubisoft. Yeah, okay. So maybe
okay,
maybe it's the
no, I still agree with you though.
I mean, yes,
maybe
because Ubisoft was confirmed. We already knew about that one. That's nothing new.
Absolutely.
And you got the Assassin's Creed game that, while is regarded as being pretty good, didn't sell fucking well. It's all okay. That's still Assassin's Creed game.
Whoa! Did you say Assassin's Creed Odyssey didn't sell very well?
Yeah.
I thought it.
You're wild, dude. That game
See,
sold
what
very
everybody-
well.
No,
Yeah.
isn't it one of those things that sold really well, but it was still like it's below our projected sales because they project like 95 million sales like crazy people.
You know what?
Yeah.
We got Hayo in the chat. Hayo in the chat's gonna look this up for us.
Okay, yeah. All right. Anyway, sorry.
Anyways,
Move on.
all right.
Just jump to the next person.
Yeah.
But
Dapper.
the presentation sucked.
Give us your laydown on this. How do you feel? How are you feeling about Stadia?
I am tremendously ambivalent.
Well, that's not the most exciting answer, but please go on.
Hold on. Do you
I
mean
have a
ambivalence as in like you have two conflicting emotions or don't give a shit?
The first one. I have conflicting
Okay, cool.
emotions.
All right. Well, let's hear those emotions.
No, this is the potential to be something really big. I mean, Google obviously is one of the most household names in the world, so I feel like I'd be remiss if I said I didn't care at all. As a gamer, I should care, because this can mean a lot of things for the industry itself down the line. But in the short term, I'm not going to say I'm exactly where Green 8 Ball is and saying I'm dismissing it, but the questions are... A lot of the question marks are putting me off for the time being. I mean, like 8 Ball said, the presentation wasn't anything spectacular. That controller's pretty ugly. I don't think of Google when I think of gaming, and I think that's one of the biggest things. Gamers are this weird combination of they're loyal to things, but they hate those things they're loyal to.
Yeah, fuck games.
Gamers are just the worst.
If you like video games, you're not a real gamer.
I mean, it's true.
Literally,
it's true. Half the time.
Dare you go to fucking Reddit gaming? You'll die.
Oh God.
But to bring this back on point,
Yes.
it's gonna be really tough to. It's gonna be really tough to insert yourself into. I hate the term hardcore gamer, so I'm not going to use it. But it's very hard to insert yourself into into the mass appeal of gamers, because they think of Google as a search engine. I mean, obviously they do a bunch of other stuff, obviously, but I guess my biggest thing is, without more info, I'm just not exactly thinking how Google's going to pull people away from what they already know and appreciate. I have my really nice computer with my Steam games, and I play so many indie games now too that this is what I'm good with, and you're gonna have to do something bigger than normal, or I'm just gonna stick with what I'm comfortable with and with what I know works.
Yeah, it's they definitely have an uphill battle at convincing. You're exactly right. The already very entrenched gamers who have our expensive hardware, their appeal to us is going to be much more limited than to somebody who has very little experience in the gaming industry.
Right. At the same time, as we've seen from the mass appeal of mobile games and things like that, you don't have to appeal to those entrenched gamers, so this can still work for Google if they can get enough of people who aren't too loyal to their consoles and computers.
Exactly.
So in that regard, I think it can still work, and I think there's some potential, but right now the question marks are just outweighing. They're preventing me from being too excited, but I don't want to dismiss the idea.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, Fisher. Here's the thing. There's a bounce off question I wanna go with from what Dapper was saying. I definitely want your overall thoughts, but throw this one in as well, because obviously Google knows that there's a lot of questions that they left unanswered, particularly the price tag,
okay, cool.
all this stuff. But they said we'll have more information to reveal in the summer. Does this mean we're seeing Google at E3? Because they didn't roll it out. They said, we can't tell you that yet.
We'll definitely see him at PAXs. Various different PAX things. And they could show up at E3, because E3 would be like, oh God, please fill one of our empty conference halls. God, please, anything. And I think they might do that solely because they'll be like, yeah, we're getting into the gaming business. Let's go to E3 where the true gamers go. The real conference of gamers. But I also don't think it matters.
Don't look at the chat. Don't look at the chat right now.
That was me laughing. Because E3 is a joke and Google Stadia is an even bigger joke. Kaboom.
Dang. Okay. So bold.
Okay,
bold?
no, it's not a joke. I mentioned this to you privately today, but I think this is just VR again, where someone, hey, look at my new tech. Look how cool it is. I stream video games. Boom. And which is the VR is, you can have video games in your face. It's great. And then everyone throws everything out the window, freaks out. This is the next big thing. This is the future. The future is here and now. And it's super not. Because even in places where like Kaiser and I live in New York, we have very good internet. Internet still fucking is flaky and freaks out and doesn't always work the way it's supposed to. And like, streaming is complicated, and streaming a video game, which is a lot of moving parts all at once, is incredibly complicated. And then streaming your input back to that is way too many moving parts, especially for people that don't live in places with insanely well furnished and like well working internet. Also, Google, I have no faith in them whenever they like release or reveal a new thing. Google Glass kind of was almost a thing, and then no. But the biggest one is Fiber, where Fiber was like, it was doing fine.
Yeah.
It kept expanding, and then all of a sudden, complete shutdown. It went from literally being an active project one day to being dead the next.
Yeah, Google's got to eat their fiber, you know. That's my joke.
Was it a joke? Joke's supposed to be funny, I thought.
Fuck you. Mizuki, how you feeling about Google Stadia?
All right, I'll take the different view. That's pretty much how I feel. Is cautiously optimistic. So I do share Fisher's kind of views that this is a little bit reminiscent of VR. And when VR first came out, it was janky. It didn't super work well. It made a bunch of people sick. A couple years later now, there are sweet VR games, and VR is kind of having a resurgence. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen with the Google streaming technology and whatever Microsoft does for theirs, PlayStation. I think they're going to be super jank to start. Some people that have super great, super consistent internet will enjoy playing games with this stuff, and the other people will suffer until either the internet gets better or compression technology gets better. And that'll be like a few years down the line. Eventually it'll spread other places the same as VR's spreading. And I think Google's really just taking an early bet at this stuff and trying to get ahead of people because they have the infrastructure, they have the data centers, they have all these like huge partnerships. So I think for them, getting in now before Microsoft and Sony completely solidify the streaming gaming market is like their ideal time to get in. They're like, no, we don't want to make a console, but we want to do this before they take the market. Get that money. What Google wants, that's what Google needs.
Google never has enough money, so they gotta get some more of it.
Yeah. And you never actually know, this could end up helping their Google Fiber initiative and kind of bring it back if they get like more offerings like these that are more consuming of internet and bandwidth and getting data caps. They might end up pushing like city governments.
I do worry
and stuff
about that though, because in the Polygon article, when they asked them specifically, like, "Hey, this is the Bay Area. We have dope internet. What places they don't have good internet?" He literally just dodges the fuck out of the question.
That is definitely an
He's
issue.
like, "Oh, well, 5G is right around the corner," and it's like, I don't want to hear Google.
All right, let's do another round of questions for points here. Where do I want
points on this show?
Well, the good news is, Dapper, there are, and you're winning. So,
oh, cool.
Dapper's at 5. Everyone else is sitting at 4.
I've never understood Pridge so much in the moment. But you're winning. Oh, cool.
I sounded a little more excited than that.
You did. That's true. Yeah.
So
Just more
mildly bemused.
Sounded more exciting than the presenters of the fucking.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I will say if they do come to E3, they gotta up their presentation game.
Oh my god.
You know what they should have done? They should have reached out to Mark and see if they could have done the reveal on 8chan.
You know what? I fucking
Oh my
I zoomed in on you right for that because I was like, oh, you're gonna say something insightful, and no, you just gave me memes. You know what? That's the kind of content we want to see here. That's another fucking point.
No, I would love so much if like a major company like Google does a fucking announcement on H.
Yeah, because Google has
Neopets
no other
forum
place that they can
announcement.
post stuff.
Exactly.
They own the internet, but they can't find a
Going
spot.
after the smallest market we can find.
Yeah, one of my coworkers Googled Stadia right after the presentation, and it did not bring up Google Stadia. And I
That
was
is
like,
so
Whoa.
it brought up like an ancient Greek measurement unit.
That's
so goddamn
hilarious.
Instead of their new project.
That's hilarious.
Also, hey, gaming industry, stop with the fills. Jesus.
Yeah, there's a lot of Phils. Phil Harrison, Phil Spencer.
Phil Spencer.
What do you want them to do? Just quit?
Yes,
No,
I do.
change your
Start working
name.
for
change your
Rockstar.
name.
Legally change their names.
Get a cool name. Like Phil Spencer can be like Xbox Mountain Dew.
Oh yeah, we
That's
need
a
the
good
name.
Use his gamer
That's a
tag.
good name. That's a
Phil-
good
Phil-
name.
Phil also be Concrete Block Dude, number 5. Or
Whoa, whoa,
something
whoa,
like
whoa.
that.
Phil Harrison, yes.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer,
Generic
cool
white
dude.
man in
No,
jacket
Phil
over
Harrison is
graphic tee.
self-processor.
Who would use their gamer tag in an official thing? Like, who would refer to each other by their gamer tag?
Phil
Right green,
Spencer.
right green 8 ball?
I gotta give
no.
a shout out to Hayo in the chat for saying change his name to Phil Same.
Oh my.
That's hilarious.
Rest in peace.
That's the only thing you shout out to high
Can we get round a point for that?
Oh,
Saying
dude,
some risque things there.
if you haven't been paying attention to Hayo in the chat, Hayo's got the most points by far. All right. Anyways, let's go back with another round to kind of to get past this round here. 8-Ball. What? Okay. Let me put because you're a non-believer.
Yeah.
What can Google come out in the summertime and say and show that will get you on board?
Oh Jesus.
What's not there right now that you're not down to climb with?
They have.
Here's
Here's
question.
Yeah, give that to Fisher too. He'll have probably a better, quicker stuff going on there. The good thing is they have a weak point in Microsoft right now that they can actually fill somewhat of a role that they're lacking in significantly. They're falling really far behind. So maybe if Google does come in strong with some more, first of all, more information on just about like everything. I want price cost in the summer already.
Absolutely.
That's probably
If
one of the first things
they
I
don't
would
reveal that, then that's a terrible sign.
Yeah, I want price cost, and maybe I want them actually running it, but I want another big major company in on it. I know I already messed up and lost some points by saying apparently Ubisoft is not enough, but you know, screw Ubisoft right there.
Whoa!
Slam.
Whoa!
I'm tanking everything. It's
Oh,
fine.
well,
Tank it
I
all.
wasn't gonna take a point off, but you said take a point off, so I'm taking a point off.
Okay. But I need. Honestly, I probably won't be even a believer until I see it working from somebody else's like in my life. I need to see it in actuality.
Let me pose this: the summer.
I'll be like doubting Thomas. I need to feel a wound and like, oh man, there's a wound there.
You want to touch the stigmata of Google.
Yeah, exactly. I need to see it working in actuality or from
Holy
somebody.
wounds of Google.
The holy wounds of Google. I need to
Phrases
see
taken out of context. The stigmata of Google.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Just state
But
that
like,
with no
Google,
context.
Google and this Phil guy can tell me he's a good presenter.
Phil
and
Googles.
that it'll work.
Phil Google.
But you know, until I see it actually fucking working,
Let me
I'm not gonna trust
let me
anything
pose you
you
this
say.
one. What if in at say they show up at E3, say they just do their own presentation, whatever.
okay.
The end of that, they're one more thing they gotta say, and we've got what X, Y, and Z game, whatever game you want to show, running now. We're doing a beta test. Go wild, internet. How
That'd be hilarious. First of all,
it would be a bad idea. It would. I mean,
It'd be a really bad
to let
idea.
everybody. I mean, we've seen time and time again. Anytime you open one game live to the world, your servers fucking get destroyed. You just
Yeah.
don't have it. But
Yeah.
say they do a closed beta, and they get 1 million people in on this, and you're one of them, and it works
Okay.
for one game. Are you down to clown?
It works.
Yeah, like you like yeah. There's some latency issues, but it's not terrible.
I mean, I get like sure if it's me involved in it, yeah, I could see it,
Yeah.
but I think my big thing is Google. The only thing in common Google has with gaming is they both have the letter G in front of it. Like, they have no credibility at all. We're just going on the word of some fucking guy on stage with a laser pointer, with a nice presentation. Like, that's all we're going off.
I wouldn't even call it a nice presentation. It was pretty weak.
With a presentation.
Yeah.
With a B- presentation.
Yeah. I've given better presentations in like college classes in history of rock and roll. Okay, like, dude, this guy, go watch it, chat or people involved. Like, seriously, go watch it. Learn what not to do. I promise.
Yeah, it was a. I think even EA has given better presentations than this one, which is saying something.
Not recently, but yes, in general.
Yeah, Dapper, you were ambivalent on this. What? So let's do it both ways. A little. I mean, don't say exactly the same things 8-Ball said. But what could they what could they do to win you, and what would be like, oh shit, fuck no, I'm out. You said the wrong things or you showed the wrong things. I'm not in.
So here's my favorite one for a thing that would just like kill it for me.
Mm-hmm.
We want to announce our next major big partner. It's EA.
Here's the
Get
thing.
ready for all your Google EA cross.
Here's the thing. EA is totally a meme. All the microtransactions, la la la. But of course they're gonna try and get FIFA and Madden on this because those games will sell a bajillion dollars.
Yeah, the sports games would be like some of the easiest bait because.
And honestly, I don't think having like a tiny bit of latency problems would affect those games that badly.
I mean, not for the most part, the people that play those games are like guys who, it's like, want to drink and play FIFA with their buddies. Mm-hmm. So like, I definitely don't think those people are going to care about latency as an issue. You can probably escape a lot of complaints from the Madden, FIFA, NBA 2K crowd.
You're predicting a future where Chaz calls up Mike and he says, "Yo, Mike, this new Google Stadia thing I heard about. We can pay $10 a month. Just bring over the rest of the boys. Bring over a 12-pack, and we're fucking playing FIFA.
Crack it open.
Cracking open a cold one with Chaz, and we're fucking playing FIFA for $10 a month. Is this the Slam Jam?
I hate these new characters.
I'm also mildly offended. The other one was Mike.
Here's the thing. Michael's.
I don't get called by it much, but that.
Michael's,
Michael, by the way.
Michael's totally fine human beings. Mike's, sometimes they suck. Listen, my name is Zach. Zach's suck 90% of the time.
Alright, what were we talking about again?
I fucking love
I think that was a good bit. I appreciate you for coming along with me on that ride. Fisher, I don't know, man. Where was I at with you? Where were you on this? You didn't like it.
No, not at all.
All right, what can Stadia do to win over your fighting game player heart?
Oh God, I'm not playing a fighting game with this. You fucking crazy?
Well, okay.
Yeah, you want about latency being a death sentence?
Let me
fighting game.
All right. Let's go into specifics here because one of the I thought most impressive things that they showed was in relating to streaming. They showed, okay, if you're streaming, it's got to be on YouTube because Google owns YouTube, so obviously
that's smart.
I mean, of course, but
yeah,
they made it so there can be a little button on the side that says, hey, if you have this game and this Twitch player is playing this game or this YouTube streamer is playing this game, that sounds a dirty word to say.
It does.
You can push a button to be entered in the queue to play this person, and when it's your turn, you're in the game, you're playing with them or against them or whatever. Now, yes, obviously, fighting games, the latency is going to be a huge issue. But, say other games, like strategy or games where the latency... I mean, sports games where the latency isn't like... You gotta...
Sure. Let's go back to the sports, then say Madden. Because, like, you're setting a play. It's not like a tremendous... And you control a single person. Like,
yeah.
It's a cool concept. It won't work. It's a cool concept. It'll have tremendous issues with, like... You're gonna have to fucking like link your accounts and a bunch of bullshit to your FIFA Net account, or whatever the fuck it is. I'm sure they have their own bullcrap.
FIFA Battle.net.
Yes, it's got a fucking number at the end.
Yeah.
No, look, there's very little they can do to make me want this, and unfortunately, there is one thing they could do that would 100% make me into this.
I want to hear it.
And they're not going to do it because, unfortunately, Stadia's slogan is "The future of gaming is not a box." Hey, I want a box.
You want
because
a box?
here's what I thought.
You want
Here's
a
what
box?
I thought. Yeah, we'll go down to fucking the place on World Trade Center later.
What's in the box?
So like glove. It's called like Glove Works. Anyway, no, what I wanted, what they thought they were going to do is I want a Google everything. I want it to be my Google Home, music, streaming, Stadia, Chromecast box. So like I want it to be all the things wrapped up in one, so I can just have it in my home, and whatever Google service I need to access is at my disposal. So like, hey Google, make music happen, or I want to Chromecast my screen to my fucking television. Or I want to play a Stadia game with my snappy Stadia controller that looks like garbage. And I want to.
Hey, listen. That controller has the Konami code on it.
We
Does it
don't
really?
know that it will have that, or if that was just a promotional image.
Whoa.
No, there's
On
Yeah,
I guess
on the
you're right, I guess
on the
you're
back of it, yeah.
on the back,
I
yeah.
guess you're right.
Do you really think that won't happen? Because I could totally see Google releasing a sound bar for your TV that connects
That's
to
what
the
I'm saying.
TV and
If-
does Chromecast and everything.
If they do that, I will be interested again. Until that happens,
So-
I'm like, even if it works really well, I don't really care because I'm primarily a PC video game player.
So you want to see a Google Amazon Fire?
Yeah, sure, totally.
Okay. I think that's a fucking slam dunk idea. Really.
I think they're missing a huge opportunity by not linking this with a Google Music, YouTube Premium, whatever the fuck account. Like that's a way easier way to get money out of people by offering a service that has a lot of things on it, especially if it's a purely digital service.
Yeah. I think there's again, there is an absurd amount of stuff that they have not showed us that I think needs to be seen.
Which pisses me off because like it's just
I think
now I gotta wait till summer.
I think
for this bullshit.
it's a lame defense to say that GDC is more for developers and that's why they showed what they showed. I think it's somewhat true because they have to get out of this and try to get games before they unveil it to the public.
Yeah, that's definitely yeah.
But I agree that this presentation was badly presented, one, and two, left a lot. Because I streamed this live, the whole time they showed something, I was like, when are you going to tell me the fucking money? How much money is it going to cost? And then they didn't, and I was like, well, GD.
Not telling the
GDC.
money is what I think this actually was like they don't have that information yet, and they probably were hoping to have it by GDC, and that boardroom meeting never finished. And we already announced we're going to GDC. Tell them what we got.
Yeah.
We can't say less information.
Very true.
I don't think they know yet because part of why they were at GDC was to like encourage those developer relationships, and you can't price it without doing the developer relationships. You absolutely can't because you need to figure out whether is it realistic that we can actually get developers on board with a subscription service, or are we going to have to sell the games one by one piecemeal?
But does Google really need to go to GDC to make people interested? Can't they just walk up and flash their Google?
I will.
Well,
I will
briefcase
counter
full
this.
of money?
Fisher, I'm going to counter this with the point you made, in that Google has showed multiple times that they will start a project and bail on it. By showing up to GDC, I think that is them saying, "Look, we're making a huge public announcement, and if we pull back on this, that's a huge egg on our face." So I think this is them.
Well, they haven't done it before.
I agree, but it's better than just like a private email saying, "Hey, you want in? We'll give you money. We're Google."
All I'm saying is these people
you
own.
wanna buy some Stadia?
You kids are trying to build Stadia. All I'm saying is this is the company that owns YouTube. They are apt at fucking things up.
Fair. Mizuki, you were onto something earlier with the what were you saying? The financial models between them and developers. What do you think is the right answer for Google, and what do you think is the right answer for developers here? What do you think is the reality? What do you think is what they're aiming for?
I think what is probably going to happen is it's going to start as a piecemeal by each game individually, just because the library is not going to be there for a subscription service to start. It's just not. That's why they're at the show in the first place. They had said in their presentation they already had like dev kits out to 100 developers.
Yes.
And there's a ton more developers than that, so I think that's part of why they were at the show.
You got me.
It's like...
Wait.
Fair enough.
Like, more than 100
like,
people make video games?
Yeah, they're like... So they did probably approach all the big studios, and that's probably who most of the 100 is larger studios. And then they're showing this to some of the indies and stuff and being like, hey, look at all these cool little technologies you can use that you can take advantage of, like the styling things that Tequila works on, the state share stuff, which you can kind of already do, but...
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was kind of their whole purpose. And to your point, to solidify that no, this is real. It's not Google Glass, and to also show that they're dumping more stuff into it. They're creating their own actual development studios, so they're not just doing the Google Glass thing where they have the people developing the hardware and the software and then nothing on top of that. So I think Jade Raymond coming out and being like, hey, I'm on board with this. I made Assassin's Creed a thing, and I also was working on that Star Wars game that got canceled that everyone hated EA for.
Yeah, man.
So I might be doing cool stuff. Come join our team. And that's part of it too. It might have also been there for a hiring thing. Of like,
and
we're making a studio.
Let's not
who wants to jump ship?
Let's not forget, they got Hayo's #1 fanboy, Matt Pat. And that's not just a theory. That's a game theory. Thanks for watching,
brother.
That intro was terrible.
Yeah.
To that point too, though, I don't think the queuing system thing's actually a big deal for large streamers. I think it is a a big deal for your small to medium streamers, though. Like,
absolutely.
Imagine you've got a group of like 20 people that are kind of your friends that like watch your stream and stuff, and you can just go on and be like, hey, I'm playing this game, queue up and play with me. And it's that simple. You don't have to do it.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I don't think Shroud's gonna be like, oh man, I'm missing 2 people in my squad.
No. Absolutely.
Let's get some fucking noobs in with me.
He doesn't play solos.
He also might not be playing for a while. So he like had a scooter wreck.
The surgery went fine, apparently.
Oh, okay.
No, he's not back. He's just like doing like talk streams mostly.
I did not know that Shroud had surgery.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
I think
Carpal tunnel.
No, he was like driving a scooter at like 50 miles an hour.
Oh my god.
He was just jacking.
He got fucked up.
Shit. What was the? Because right now we got a tiebreaker. We got to break some ties here. There was one question.
You said something in that last thing that I was like, oh, that'd be a good tiebreaker too, and I totally forgot.
I know, exactly. I was like,
tiebreaker. If no, you're not moving on. Goodbye.
Depending on who the tie is between, that might actually be a non-starter.
Shoot. It was something relating to streaming.
Oh, actually, I kind of have a tiebreaker question.
All right, drop it on me because I got nothing.
It's just like, okay, so we talked about them sort of like courting and sending out things to developers, especially like, and now with GDC they're sort of like opening the doors to indie developers. Is it way too fucking late now that Discord and the Epic Store and Steam are currently, duking it out for indie developers?
I like where your head's at. I want to save that question because it's kind of part of a question in the final round.
Fuck.
Let's talk about the streaming side of things.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's actually a really good point, Hayo. Thank you for that. Let's start with Dapper here. So streamers, obviously, this creates a whole new interesting incentive for them. Also, because you won't have to have an extremely powerful PC that can run the game, stream the game, possibly record the game at the same time, all the actual X, Y, and Z stuff. Do you think this is beneficial for streamers? Do you think how will this change the stream landscape? Also, I know what it was going to be. Is this going to is Google coming for Twitch's lunch?
I'm going to sum that up real quickly. No.
Oh, okay.
everyone who is forced to use YouTube for any part of their livelihood hates fucking YouTube. It is an absolute trash shoot.
Yeah.
No big streamer who is capable of making his money on Twitch is ever gonna be like, no, I'd rather use YouTube.
Yeah.
No one would rather use YouTube. You just use YouTube because you have no other option.
That's
This is gonna, in my opinion, this is gonna be meaningless for big streamers.
Oh, big streamers definitely no.
I think Mizuki brought up a good point where there might be some like small streamers where this is kind of fun for them.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, their idea for streaming is so unappealing because Twitch is just too much entrenched, and so unappealing because I will reiterate it: everyone hates YouTube. We are just stuck with it because we have to be. But it's the freaking worst.
And Fisher.
Sorry if I just killed our chances of ever getting a YouTube sponsorship.
It's already out the door.
As we stream live on
nobody makes money on YouTube, dude. Fisher, what are your thoughts on this?
We have the rarest occurrence that happens in the show where Dapper and I disagree.
Oh.
I actually think,
Spicy.
this is look, there's no fucking chance in hell of them being Twitch anytime soon. But Twitch is prone to making mistakes. They're not a flawless company. It's shit's hard. If they're going to try and make a take at Twitch's crown of the streaming services, this is honestly a pretty not terrible way to try.
Fair.
If the concept of we're building a device into our service, our gaming service, that encourages streamer interaction with their chat. That is a really solid idea. But the main thing is that it needs to fucking work, which it's not going to. And I'm getting no's from Hateball.
Yeah. Hayo wants to know what mistakes has Twitch made. Oh my god, he just got shut down, ladies and gentlemen. He's got no response.
I can't say it!
Mr. Kink's done! Oh, I could have backed him up, dude! Sorry, buddy.
I can't say it!
I'm out of the round. See you, buddy.
Why can't you say it?
Why can't you say it?
We're not talking about the most recent thing Twitch has done, right?
I don't know what
We're gonna have a long conversation about racism at the end of the stream. Okay, moving on.
All right. Well, I think you just got pinned.
Using wrestling parlance against me
there
by
you
one
go.
true weakness.
How'd you appreciate that? Anyways, I think that's going to take us into the final round. So, Green 8-Ball and Fisher King.
Join me, Fisher.
I'm sorry.
Join me.
It's time to go home and become a family man.
I'm gonna send angry links at home.
Final round. Fight.
And we are back in the final round with Master Hamizuki and the fanciest boy in the land, Dapper Dexter. To start off things here, kind of rolling off of exactly what we just said, but this one comes from Reset Era. Xbox's Phil Spenser, another Phil weighing in on things, says he weighed in a bit on Stadia, said he was impressed with it, he really did, kind of tip the hat to Google, but he did finish by saying that Xbox is going to go big at E3 this year. They've got a lot to reveal. What do we think about this, guys? Do we think that they can... Because obviously we know that they are working on a streaming service. Do we think that they have any chance... Or possibly, converse statement of this, because Google has kind of played a part of their hand, do we think that Xbox can kind of come in and say, okay, well, here's what they did wrong in their presentation. We're going to come out, we're going to say all the right things, and then now we're going to be the premier streaming platform. And also... to kind of assuage Fisher King's fears, they already have a box. So, and a lot of first-party, I was gonna say first-party games, but that's kind of the meme. Mizuki, what do you think about this? Do you think we should be looking forward to Xbox's E3?
Definitely. I think out of the other players in the space, Xbox has the best chance of fighting Google on this. They have all of the Microsoft Azure infrastructure, which is honestly larger and more widely used than the Google one by software companies around the world. So I think they actually have the best chance, whereas Sony doesn't have much in the way of infrastructure that they sell. That's not one of their key markets. So I think Microsoft definitely has the best chance there. I'm hoping that they kind of do what Sony did to them in the last generation, where Microsoft kind of played their hand on the console a little earlier, and that allowed Sony to kind of take a real jab at them later. Or that might have been 2 generations ago, but they let that happen. I think Microsoft is gearing up for this to be good. They acquired all the studios in the past year or two that are going to start making their first party games that are going to not just go into their next console, but onto their streaming services. Yeah. So I think they have a head start on that compared to Google. So I think as long as they can actually spin up the infrastructure needed, the data centers, all of the boxes with all the GPUs and stuff that they need, I honestly think they have the best chance out of anyone. And they're already playing nice with Nintendo. Who knows? Yeah. We could see a partnership going the other direction where we start seeing Nintendo games.
Oh, man.
I don't think that's going to happen.
That'd be some
but
wild
it could.
That'd be some wild shit. Dapper, what do you think about this? You think we should be excited for Xbox's streaming platform?
So, I want to make a joke about. I first want to make a joke about. Of course, I'm not excited about Xbox at E3 because E3 is lame.
Damn.
But I assumed that was going to lose me the round instantly. So I decided to joke about making the.
Oh yeah, it's like you didn't even make that joke. I get it.
But I did. So I think Xbox is in a good position, mostly because Google sort of had to play their hand first. I think if they waited till after Xbox had made a big streaming announcement at E3, it wouldn't have hit off too well. So I think Google sort of had to make their announcement first, and I think this does give Xbox the chance to go, where exactly did people criticize Google's announcement? Now obviously I don't think they're going to have all the answers either, but they can definitely look at, here's what people were skeptical about, and here's how we can sort of minimize those fears. We sort of have a game plan on how to do this a little bit. And again, like I think I was saying in my answer at the beginning of the episode, one of Google's biggest problems is going to be getting into entrenched gamers. Well, Xbox certainly doesn't have that problem. While they have been losing some faithful to Sony and Nintendo in terms of not having first-party exclusives, they're still one of the big three. They're still entrenched, so they're not going to run into a lot of the problems Google will.
This actually has me thinking, because bouncing off what you were exactly saying here, this upcoming, I think it's coming, it's this spring, they're releasing their Xbox without a CD drive at all. That's digital only.
Yep.
Rumors are that they're trying to hit a $150 price point, which if they do, like, that might get me to pick up an Xbox, and then I can play. I can just play through all their exclusives. All three of them, and then I'll be ready for.
Do they have that many?
Damn. Yeah. Get dunked on. Get dunked on. I'm gonna get that point to Mizuki. I think he made some interesting points about Microsoft and their kind of their ability to work into this market here.
Technical specifications.
Yeah, it's more of the technical. It's more of the technical. So okay, next topic. This one comes from Kotaku. There's been some more Epic Games Store versus Steam drama. Seems like we talk about this every week as well. So Epic put out a statement saying they won't sell porn games or bloatware on their platform. Very, very strong shots fired across the bow at Steam, especially due to their recent Rape Day drama. And on top of this, Epic has snagged some more exclusives. Most notably, the last 3 games from Quantic Dream. What is it? Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit. All of which, well, 2 of which I've enjoyed. And I know Fisher is probably in the chat screaming right now, but he can suck it because he's not here. And at the same time, a lot of people, the voices complaining about Epic not, being bad for the consumer. They're good for the developer, but being bad for the consumer as far as not having the exact same features that Steam has. Do we think that... you know what? Because this is the question I want to ask. Do we think that this is a fair argument to make? Because the Epic Store has really just launched. We're still in the infancy of the Epic Game Store. Now, granted, it has been a few months, and Epic is making more money than Sin because they do on Fortnite. You think they could pay somebody to get these features on the store? But obviously, it's not a flip a switch and cool. Now you have curation and all this stuff. But Dapper, do you think this is a fair comparison that by getting games to the Epic Game Store and not having the same features that Steam has, that Epic is being anti-consumer?
I certainly don't think Epic's being anti-consumer. I think that's a little weird to put it.
If you go to Reddit, man, those are the words that people love fucking saying. Anti-consumer.
Yeah, but Reddit doesn't have good opinions, so I just reiterate. That just reiterates my argument.
Got him.
So I again, like you said, it's still in its infancy in the grand scheme of things, and yeah, so it's not going to have the exact same features as Steam, but at the same time, Steam's been around for a very long time. You would have thought they would have tried to not release their product until it had some of the features comparable to Steam that make Steam so user-friendly and easily accessible. It's not like people were waiting on bated breath for the Epic stores to start, so I'm surprised you didn't just pause a little bit and make sure you did have a more user-friendly interface before launching it, because then you are going to end up with both the unjustified Reddit criticism and the justified actual criticism that you just don't have as smooth of a platform.
Absolutely.
And then final point, and I do want to just touch finally on the actual articles themselves. The Quantic Dreams exclusives is a pretty decent deal. That's some good stuff. I don't think it's the hugest grab, but it's definitely some good stuff. And Epic, why the hate on porn games? If people want to be horny, if horny people want to play video games, let them. Don't sex shame.
Don't
man.
kink shame us.
Yeah, just moderate better than Steam does. Don't be a hater. It's fine.
Mizuki, do you have
suck
any?
at bad at moderating.
Mizuki, do you have any?
There's your anti-consumerism. They take the porn game. No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Mizuki, do you have any rebuttals to this?
I don't super disagree with Dapper on this one. I do think that there are some things that are missing from the Epic Store that really did need to be there, like at launch. I know their refund policy wasn't great, and I think they have fixed that. I think, but like, Dapper's right. My Steam profile is 11 and a half years old, and I wasn't even one of the first ones on Steam. So like, they've been around for forever. They didn't have most of these features when Steam first came out. So, like, voice chat wasn't there. The chat kind of worked. Nothing was smooth. So I think give Epic some time. It's not something like features don't work where you just throw money at them. Like, once you get past a few engineers working on a certain feature, that you get super diminishing returns, and it sometimes even hurts the project.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of pointless. I think, honestly, the primary reason that people are mad at Epic Games right now is that a lot of PC gamers played on PC because they were like, fuck exclusives, I'm just going to play it on PC, then I'm not tied to a console. And now Epic's like actively changing how that process worked for everyone.
Here's the thing about that. Because I agree that, like, it's no longer exclusive, or it isn't exclusive, so I'm mad. But that exclusivity isn't. It can't. It's not that it can't be played on my PC that I already have. I just have to open a different window.
Yeah, I think it's just getting to that point where there's too many different clients. You've got Origin, you've got Uplay, you've got Steam, you've got GOG, you've got Epic.
I hear you.
I almost forgot what we were talking about.
I hear you.
So I don't super care. It's not a huge issue to me, but I do hear the people complaining, and I understand why they're frustrated because there's no integrated chat between all of these systems. If someone comes out with that, that'll be. And Discord,
That's what I was
since
to
they
say.
have a store now
That's where
too. It's all
Discord
these
comes
different
in, baby.
things. It's and like I get, and I think that's where most of the anti-consumerism stuff they're talking about is. They're just like, oh, exclusives are bad and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. I don't know.
But that's just life.
Yeah, it's complicated, but I think I'm gonna give that one to Dapper. Actually, he made some great points, especially about the porn games. Final topic for the day. This one comes from GamesIndustry.biz. Cuphead is coming to Switch. Xbox achievements will transfer over. Xbox and Nintendo are playing awfully nice with each other lately, and especially considering the rumors that we've heard about, the Xbox Live app coming to Switch, potentially signaling, hey, if you have Xbox Game Pass, you can play those games on your Switch. God in heaven, for God permitting. This one goes back to Mizuki to start. Do you think that this partnership that they seem to be forming here, do you think that is a sign of this, you can stream Xbox games on Switch, or do you think it's just going to be, hey, we're going to trade some exclusives with each other, we might see some Mario spin-off game on Xbox coming up?
I think they're going to start dealing even nicer with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing to really keep in mind with this partnership is Xbox does not have a presence in Japan. And I think that's primarily why Sony has not partnered with, and why Xbox has a chance. Is Sony and Nintendo do actually butt heads in Japan.
Well,
Sony had the Vita, which fought with the DS.
I mean, they have the original fight, which was Sony was going to help Nintendo make the N64, or what became the N64.
Yep.
And at the last minute, Nintendo was like, "Nah, we're gonna go with somebody else."
Yeah, so they have some bad blood. They have all this stuff, but I think the real thing is Xbox is like, hey, Nintendo, we don't really fight too much on markets. They don't compete that much with each other in terms of the types of games they have.
Mm-hmm.
Xbox is like, hey, we'd like to actually get into the Japanese market, and you'd like to get more games and stuff on your system. Why don't we actually make a real partnership?
Absolutely.
So I think they're going to keep playing nice. They might even do some cool streaming stuff together in the future. I don't see that changing. Both of them like money, and this will make money for both.
Absolutely. Dapper, what do you think about this? Sign of the times that Xbox and Nintendo will become great friends?
We are seeing the groundwork of definitely of a mutualistic, symbiotic relationship between the two. This can be I think Xbox needs this a little more than Nintendo. But I think this is a situation where both parties can find some benefits for themselves. I think Nintendo, again, is a lot less reliant, because I think a point I brought up before is Nintendo almost feels like it's formed its own presence that doesn't almost even feel like it's competing with Sony and Microsoft anymore. So I think it's pretty easy for them to sort of let Xbox play a little bit with their system and let them do this Xbox Live on the Switch stuff, because I think Nintendo's completely okay with that and isn't threatened by Microsoft, because it knows it has its own core audience. And on the other side, as we've mentioned, Microsoft is just throwing darts at a dartboard of potential money-making ideas. Just another try to see what sticks. And I think because Nintendo's nice enough to play along, and they both think they can benefit, I do think the ultimate end of this is going to be Xbox wants to bring its streaming stuff to where you can stream Xbox games on a Switch. I think that is the end goal. I think all the signs point, if you take their introduction of their streaming service and this partnership, it only seems inevitable that they might intersect somewhere along the line. Not that it's an immediacy with either of these two goals of theirs, but I think it is something down the line that we should expect to see. Maybe a few years from now, maybe next year. Who knows?
Yeah. Dang. Where do I go? You know what? Do we still have people in the chat? People in the chat can decide this one. I don't know. This is Hayo. Come on.
Is Hayo still here?
He is.
I don't think anyone's made a comment in a while.
No, not.
You could
not since
say
we started the
that the intersection of Xbox and Nintendo forms an.
I don't know. I feel like that one might have just cost you the win.
Goodbye.
Give it to Dapper. Yep, the chat has spoken. Dapper, you are this week's winner. Are you ready?
I go out by my own hands.
Are you? Yeah, Mizuki was like about to win the game. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna commit seppuku. Here we go.
We both. I had Trip Queens. He had Trip Kings. But for some reason, he just.
It's alright. Heroes die twice.
Dappy, are you ready for your minute to win it?
I pretty much got nothing, but I'll think of something on the fly.
All right, take it away, please.
All right, so this is my minute to win it. Trying to think of something good to talk about. One potential thing is if you're looking for something good on Netflix, check out I think it's Love, Death, and Robots. Something I just started watching on Netflix, which despite being a little violent and nudity based, is a good show of a lot of different animation styles. So if you love animation, check that out. And other than that, wish me luck because I have a 45-page paper to finish. So send me your good vibes, thoughts, and emotions, and mojo, or anything to help me because I'm screwed.
Thank you very much for listening. Do we have anything we want to plug, guys?
Yeah, I'm gonna need people not to judge me on what I'm doing right now. Just let it slide. It saves dishes.
The opposite of a plug.
We literally wouldn't have judged you if you hadn't said it.
I think that's a plug for chocolate milk and cereal. I think that's what that plug is for.
Wow.
I will always support a plug for chocolate milk.
So basically, here I'll plug this. Get yourself some serious dark chocolate milk. I know you guys don't have UDFs where you're at.
Not some...
Get it? It tastes like Willy Wonka's chocolate river is flowing into your mouth. So fucking good. Don't take that quote out of context.
It's done. It's been done.
Excuse me?
But get yourself some chocolate chip cookies. Put the chocolate chip cookie in your mouth and then drink a swig of chocolate milk. Tastes so fucking good. Tastes so good. Don't knock it until you try it.
Jason is a man of distinguished
taste.
taste.
Anything else anybody wants to plug?
I'm going to plug phrasing, so we don't ever say the phrase Willy Wonka's chocolate.
You're gonna get more points for
I'm
that
going to
one
plug
right
the
now.
concept.
Oh my god. Fisher, Mizuki, anything you want to throw out there before we close this?
No, everyone's already living in the future where they'll be allowed to play Sekiro, so I got nothing to talk about.
Oh
Yeah,
Sekiro.
that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess I might stream this weekend for the first time in a while, so Twitch TV/Mizuki, play some Beat Saber and Audica probably.
Oh hell yeah.
Maybe some old school Skies of Arcadia. Other than that, I'm working on a board game, so when I get farther, if I pitch it, give me your good vibes, please.
Nice. Nice. All right. Cool. Anything from you, Fisher?
I said it was good.
Okay. Well, you're double good. Thanks for reading I do want to take a moment to shout out real quick. We have 7 viewers in the chat, which is the highest that this podcast has ever received. So
1, 2, 3, 4, Hayo, and
yo.
Fullman and
We got
There you
Hayo,
go.
we
That's
got
all 7
Hello,
of
and we
them.
got Fullman. That's 3 people commenting that are not normally commenting. So this is good.
Man's mostly just here to beg people to play Heroes of the Storm with him.
Well,
So I don't know if he counts.
you're right.
If anything, he'd be
You're right.
reported and probably removed from my chat.
You're right. We got 6 people in the chat. 6 people that matter.
Hey, I'm a magic game.
Wow.
Anyways, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for listening. If you comment a question on the comments in the YouTube channel, video for this, we will ask it on next week's video. That is now the future
Just
going.
be careful with what you ask.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
I'm not
yeah, I mean
posting
within
since I won't be on next
reason,
week.
within reason.
Yeah.
We'll answer it. And until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you. This is Around the Monitor.